A couple of days back, the release candidate number 1 of AOS 2.0 dropped, and it has a lot of new features that we need to cover, but we're going to cover them in like a bunch of videos. So in this first video, we're going to jump right into the second one: request response semantics with references, and also default actions with the handlers. So the reason why we're not jumping in the first one is I think there are going to be like a couple of significant changes in the near future, and we're going to cover that later. And if you want to have these features, the first thing you do is to install the latest version of AO, which is the preview AO, and that gives you updates to like the newest stuffs. So all you need to do to do npm ig and all that into your terminal. You also need to have node 20 running, or node 20 and above. So I created some code, right? We have now process A and process B here, and these are going to help us showcase the power of the receive function that has been added to AOS. So process A in this case is just a simple process that has a table called roles, right? And we have a bunch of roles in there, and it has a handler to retrieve all those roles. So we also have process B that is a different process and responsible for displaying roles if you want to. So you might wonder what this target is, and prior to this I had deployed pieces of code to different processes. So as you can tell, this side I'm just going to run those. I'm going to run those two processes right now. So this first one is called test A, right? So we have test A here. I'm also going to run test B in parallel so that we can try this is AOS test B. So now that those two processes are running, if you check process A, this process here, process ID, is the same process ID we have here, just because process B is going to send a message to process A and wait for that message to come back and display that. So as you can tell here, let's try to load these two pieces of code. I think this is called process a.lua, right? Just to make sure I have the latest. And on here, I'm going to load process b.lua. Process b.lua, right? So as you can tell, these have been deployed and we have no errors. Now the action here is get roles. So process B gets a request, right, with an action of get roles, and then sends a message to process A. In this case, process A is here, and what process A does, it replies to this message. So there is this new introduction called message.reply. Not to confuse with handler.utils.reply, which is a different function. So basically what happens in this case is this message that gets sent to process A has a reference, right? So that when you do message.reply, it references back the message that was sent. So it's sort of a request response cycle. So which means when you do a send here, when you do send this message, since it has a reference, you can await for that message, or you can wait to receive feedback from that message, right? And that will be handled by this message.reply here. But previously, how you had to do it is you had to create a different handler to handle the message that was coming back, which is a little bit messy, and this way makes it more organized or more predictable, because you can still have your logic under the same handler and not break things into bits that you might not be able to sort of follow or control. So with no further ado, let's quickly go to process B. Since it's process B sending a message to process A, so we shall do a send, and this is going to have a target of ao.id, which means we are sending the message to our same process, right? So we are sending a message to this process so that this handler can get triggered and send a message to process A. So and then we add tags. This is going to be action equals get roles, right? Get roles like this, which means when we send this message, you'll see a message being added to the outbox, right? Which is the message being sent to process A, and then process A replies and we log this down, right? As you can tell, a message has been sent back to process B. So here's the flow. Let's start from here. So send to a target of AO.id, which means we're sending to the same process, and the action is get roles, which means these get roles get triggered, and then a message is sent to process A. That's why you saw this message added to outbox. But then, as you can tell, we're waiting to receive a sort of response or result from this message being sent, and this result is this one here in process A, because process A is replying to this message with this roles table. And as you can tell, the role is here: admin, user, and tester. So process B receives that result, as the result is also a message, and extracts these roles, right? Which is being sent from here, roles. So after extracting that, we just print that down, and that's the thing you're seeing on here. And this is like super interesting and super amazing, and it helps you to like keep all your logic under one handler instead of breaking that into like smaller handlers to handle different messages that come back. And this is mind-blowing. As someone who has been working with these stuff for quite a while, I'm super glad that we now have to have these type of functions that make development easy. And as I said, we're going to jump into this default action handlers, and what this does is if you come down here, handlers are core design component when creating AO processes. They give developers a powerful pipeline for managing messages. The action tag has become the common tag name to describe the intent of the incoming message. Now you can just supply a value to the pattern argument and it will infer action value as your pattern matcher for this handler. And this is super interesting. So as you can see, the way we do it currently, right? We have this handler utils that matches the tag. So when you do send a message to a process and it has one of the tags is action, right? This action gets triggered on here. Like the action here that will be triggered is get roles. But then with this new release, it's even easier. So instead of writing all this, right, you can just do this, remove all this, and just put in the value, right? And by putting in the value like this, first of all, your code becomes smaller, right? And it becomes elegant. And then like behind the scenes, AOS figured out that this is an action that you're trying to match a pattern to. So we can do the same for process A, and here we'll remove this whole thing. Yep. So now you have like this becomes even shorter and like elegant to work with. So we need to test this by updating our code with updating our process with the new code that we have and see if that works. So coming back here, I'll just copy this load script and put that in there. And as you can tell, after computing, that has been loaded. So we do the same here. And this is process A, not process B. This is going to be process A. And as easy as this, we can still try the same code we had previously. Copy this tags action, so Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and then the same output is going to come back, the same table with admin, user, and tester. And as you can tell, it's on here and it has come back as we expected it to. The other thing is you can omit these tags here while sending from the CLI, and you can have a shortcut that is target is equal to AO.id, and then action directly, right? Get roles like this, get roles, and you have to close that up. And if you send this same message, you're going to have the same output. And as you can tell, we get the same output here. So this was it, covering the two most exciting, in my opinion, releases. But this document is very long, and we're going to cover most of the remaining ones in like smaller chunks of videos. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned and come back to watch more. And if you feel like something is not well explained, we're probably going to try to like explain it more and give more examples as time goes on. So that was it for this video. Catch you up in the next one.